morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's your girl Shalewa Dosumu. Once again, this is Mirror House Concept, and we're still on our topic. Losing my religion. So I'm going to usher in my guest for today, and as usual, I'm going to have him introduce himself. Hold on.
Girl, Shalewa Dosumu, Mirror House Concept. Holla at your girl. Any religious background, or holla at your girl. Being you Christian, Muslim, Atheist, any religion, holla at your girl. Being you black, white, any cultural or ethnicity, holla at your girl. If you switched your religion to a different religion ever, holla at your girl. If you stop believing, holla at your girl. Share your story with the world. Holla at your girl. Shalewa Dosumu. Holla at your girl. Let's talk about this Mirror House Concept. Holla at your girl. I got you. Holla at your girl.
Hi, my name's Christopher Adepoju. I'm 36 years old. I'm a father of three. Live in London.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Christopher Adepoju. Can you tell us a little bit about your background concerning the topic we're discussing is about losing your religion. So this is about children or infants that grew up in a certain religion, but by the time they become of age, they either leave that religion and switch into a different religion, or they leave that religion, or they leave religion completely and don't believe in anything anymore. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Story.
Well, actually, I'm still in Christianity. I'm still, I still go to church and whatnot. So it's not like I've left.
Okay.
So just to clarify that.
Okay.
But I've got my personal how can I put it? I've had my moments when I left the religion, and I didn't, I had my own way of thinking.
Okay.
So, but now I'm actually back into Christianity, but I've still got my
in church. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. I like it when you leave and you're back. So which is a good thing. Also, I want to take it. You grew up with a very religious background. You grew up as a Christian child, go to church all the time and all that, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
growing up, do you have what you want to say something?
Yeah, I grew up in a Christian home. My dad, grew up in a traditional Christian home. Go to church every Sundays, and it just became a part of our life, really.
Yeah.
And so I've always grown up being around Christians, and
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So growing up, what are the things about church that encourages you to go to church with your parents all the time? Like when they say, okay, let's go to church as a kid, what are the things that you think and you're like, oh, going to church is actually not bad. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, church was actually, it was fun. It was like a place of, as a kid, it was I used to go there, we'd meet up with younger kids out on Sunday school. It was good. It's only when I started getting a bit older, that it became more of like, I don't really want to be here, but I just have to do it because, you know, it's like a thing where every Sunday we all have to go to church. You know, me in my teenage years, it was not really fun for me to be
Where
in
you
church.
want to be?
I'd rather be in bed, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, what are the things about church that discouraged you, that make you not want to be there as a teenager?
Um, for me, I think it was just like there was like a disconnection,
Hmm.
you know, from like maybe it's like I feel like the adults or the member of they have a disconnection with the teenagers because we were going through our own personal stuff in school, our own personal things we're dealing with our friends,
Hmm.
and I feel like a lot of times our parents, they don't really, it's like after some age we lose that connection with our parents. We're not as close to them, you know, we do stuff in secret, you know. So I feel like there was a disconnection in the churches because they don't, not all churches though, some churches actually include the youth and, you know, but at the time the church that I was attending was not very
It's friendly.
yes. So I didn't really enjoy going to church there.
Hmm. Okay. So, growing up, what part of church do you think molded you into who you are today? The man you are today, do you think the church contributed anything to you becoming the kind of person you are today? I mean, holding on to your religion now and all that.
Um, One thing I can say about church that I really, I mean, now when I was going through my issue, one thing that I really liked about church is actually the um sort of like the family. It's like a extended family. You know, everyone really wants to help, and everyone's concerned about your well-being. And me naturally, because we actually haven't got a big family. Like most of my family are back in Nigeria,
Okay.
and I don't have a lot of immediate family in the UK.
Okay.
So for me and my wife, you know, even she hasn't got a big family as well.
Mhm.
So for us being in church now
Mhm.
is like a way of like expanding our family. You
Okay.
know, everyone, you know, we like our pastor is very nice. You know, he actually is like a mentor to me,
Okay.
and that was one of the one of the reasons why I actually went back to church because
Oh,
there was a period where me and my wife were going through a lot of problems, and
every marriage goes through one.
yeah, so it was actually the pastor that actually helped us to get through the time. So I think that's what one of the things that I really admire or I really liked about being in a church environment, kind of, you know, it's
Oh.
having that family, like having that unit where everyone's just there to
Oh.
support.
Oh, okay. Okay, but as a you said when you that but this was when you got married, but what about before when you were at home with your parents? Do you think there's any contribution that the church have to that molded you into who you are today as a child growing up in a church? Is there anything you can look back and say, oh, this is because of my Christian background, this is because of my religious background? Is there anything you can look at and hold on to like that?
Uh, Not really. It- I mean, when I was when I was growing up, I didn't really I was not into church whatsoever, and in fact, I had a lot of questions
Mm.
that were not answered to my satisfaction,
Oh,
or you know, so it's I haven't really got anything to say about that, to be honest.
okay. I mean, I like what you said that you had a lot of questions. So, in other words, you find it difficult fitting in. because there's so many things that is going on that you don't understand, you don't have a clue what it is. And I can relate to that, because as a youth, also as a child growing up in Nigeria, or growing up in an African home, when you start asking questions, they kind of shut you up and say, just go to church, you
Exactly.
just read your Bible, just sit down and listen. So they don't really give you details like, okay, this is what this is what. So I do understand where you're coming from. I
Yeah.
can relate, because I have a Christian background also, so I can relate with you on that area.
Yeah.
Okay, my next question is, growing up, what role do you think your parents played in your decision, or about, in your views about church? So what I mean by that is there anything your parents did that now it encourages you to say, you know what, when situations like this arise, because in life, things, there's no new thing under the sun. In life,
Mm.
things reoccur. What your parents go through, you find out you're going through it also. What your parents, and I don't mean spiritual attacks or anything like that. I mean lifestyle. Like, you find out, as much as we don't want to be like our parents, you find out you're mimicking what they're doing in certain times of their life. This is how they what they did. This is what I'm doing also now. So I want to know that, is there anything your parents did during that time when you were growing up as a kid that that now you find yourself doing, that you hold on to it and say, this worked for my parents, this will work for me too?
Oh, that's I think for me to answer that question, I have to maybe give a bit of a backstory
That's
because
fine, feel free.
because I didn't grow up with both of my parents.
Okay.
You I grew up with just my mom,
Okay.
and when I was 6 years old, my mom passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so that's fine, thanks. My mom passed away, so this is when I start questioning a lot of things, like because my mom passed away, and I just felt like, why did God take my mom away from me? Like, I was still young, I was still a child. I really, had I really had any much years with my mom. I was only 6 years old. She died, giving birth, and so I really used to question God, like, why is this happening to me? Why is my life so hard? At the time. And then when my when I actually came to the UK, I came to the UK when I was like I think I was just turning 9,
Mhm.
living with my dad here, and at the time my dad was remarried, of course, remarried, but the relationship was not going great. So it's like from my whole childhood childhood, there's never been any consistency. There's always been
Okay.
constant change. I've always had to change everything I believed in, or if anything's been going a particular way, after a few years, I have to change everything again. So I've always had to change. So I didn't have anything consistent being a child. So one thing I can say, my dad, I really answering your question is that my dad was a very hardworking man
Mm.
and was a very God fearing man, and he always believed in doing the right thing. And my dad would never, if he knows anything is not um, right or anything against the law, he's not interested. So I think that's one thing I really admire about my dad.
Okay.
And sadly, even he too passed away this year. But
Oh,
that's one thing I really admire about my dad. Is always very God fearing and always tell us like, look, if you do anything bad to anyone, it's gonna happen to you as well. You're gonna get the consequences. Like nothing, you don't get away with anything in life. Even though you
no.
might get away with it, you get it back somehow. So
Oh,
yeah, so that's one thing I can say about my dad that
oh,
I can say is from his Christian background.
oh, okay. My condolences. So, also, I'm sorry. Most of the questions I like going to the back to the basics. Like, in most cases, also when there's a problem, you always check the foundation, right? So I always like to. Not a problem, not a problem, but to get the question, to get the answers that I'm looking for, to get the answers, I like to, and to help you to open up, I like to go to the foundation. Okay.
Yeah.
So also growing up, do you have like a friends or family that influenced your decision regarding, okay, Christianity is what I'm holding on to, or you know what, how about you try being a Muslim, or how about you just leave church alone, let's just do our thing? Is there a friend, or, and by when, okay, also when the time you said you derailed a little bit as a teenager, is there any friend or family member that said, you know what, you can't do this, let's go back to church, go back to your first love?
Yeah, actually, where I've been through that phase where I just wasn't happy with Christianity, and I just thought, maybe Christianity is not for me. And I went to a very predominantly Asian school,
Okay.
and there was mainly Muslims,
Okay.
and I had one of my closest friend was
Mhm.
Muslim as well,
Okay.
and I used to be sort of like curious
Oh,
about Islam as a whole, like because I felt like it was a peace, more of like a peaceful, the way it's portrayed, like it's a peaceful. They believe in God, and they believe in Allah, and they also believed in Jesus, like was a prophet as well. So it felt like, okay, that's kind of ties in
the balance.
both. Yeah, the balance. Yeah. So I was more. It seemed more appealing to me. So for a period of my life, I viewed myself as a Muslim because um, my friend uh, encouraged me to go to the mosque. I went to the mosque, and they really felt like, okay, yeah, I was interested, so they really embraced me and gave me like the I felt nice going there because I've had it was something different for me.
You felt welcome.
I felt welcomed. Yes, I felt very welcome. So I was more drawn to Islam at some point, at that point.
Oh, okay.
But one thing that eventually is like, one thing about me is like, once I start seeing a hole in something,
Mhm.
I feel like somehow, I start drawing back, like, why can't I answer this question, or this doesn't make sense to me. Like,
Okay.
what did make sense to me is like, it's just like so much division in
Mhm.
Islam. There's so much different, there's the different beliefs, so it's like too much conflict.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Mhm. Wow.
which
Go
which
ahead.
is another thing that another issue I had with the Christianity as well. Like, there's just too many. There's like too many different
Denominations.
beliefs. Yeah, it's like they're all Christian, but they all do things differently.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Mm, mm, mm.
So I don't know.
So I get what you're saying. If we're serving the same God, why are we doing it differently? Why can't there be unity? Why can't we just say, okay, this way is the way? So I get what you're talking about. Okay. Let me go to the next question. My next question is, do you think the society played any role in your decision regarding church or mosque? Do you think the society influenced any of that? What I mean by that is there like maybe something you see in the news, on the news, maybe something you see happening in society, like, okay, you know what, this is drawing me closer to being a Christian, this is drawing me closer to being a Muslim. No, this is even drawing me away from the religious field entirely. Is there anything, any time, or any influence you have from the society?
Yeah, I think the media actually does play a major role in a lot of things. a lot of decisions that I've kind of made, because I remember during that time when I was dabbling in Islam, there was a lot of controversy about the terrorists
Mm,
being being Muslim being associated with terrorists.
mm,
And I remember when I used to like tell my close friend that, what, I think I'm a Muslim now. I like the whole idea. Initially, the first thing they talk about is Al Qaeda and terrorists and bombs and stuff. So, and that kind of affected me. I didn't feel I felt kind of like judged,
mm.
as if I'm a some kind of a
Being
I'm
criticized.
yeah, like I'm joining some kind of a, a group, like I'm gonna be brainwashed to do all this bad stuff that the media shows. And so, yeah, the media does play a major role. And that's one of the reasons why I just start and seeing all those images on TV of like Muslims fighting over Muslims and killing Christians and doing that. At, at that point, I just felt like religion as a whole is not for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's like there's just so much war, so much bloodshed, so much, atrocity being caused, all in the name of God. Like, one person saying their God is right, another person saying their God is right. So we were both killing each other on for God, in the name of God.
Mm.
So the whole religion thing was so messy, and it really clouded my mind. Like, I just felt like this it's best for me to just not belong to any religion and just see myself as like, I know what's right and I know what's wrong. So I do the right thing, I stay away from the wrong thing. That's just the best way. And for
Oh,
long for most of my adult life, that's how I was living. Like, I just didn't have no religion. You
mm.
know, I just kind of felt like I was free. You know, God sees my heart, which is the main thing. If I do good, God will see. I don't need to go to anyone to pray to, or I didn't need any medium. It's me and God. I don't need no middleman. And that's how I was for the majority of my adult life. Only until when I eventually hit like a brick wall and didn't have like I said earlier, I didn't have a big family, so it's always like any issues we have in my home, in a marriage or home, we always have to deal with ourselves, and eventually it kind of led us to like self-destructing, because we were both suffering. We didn't have anyone to open up to. Marriage was suffering, and so it's been a very interesting journey for me anyway.
Okay. I really I'm really loving this. I like the fact that you're being transparent, you're being honest about the whole thing, about the whole issue. And
Mm.
it's just unfortunate that the Muslims are being they're being connected to terrorism and all that. And it's a Muslim is a religion. The people committing the atrocity, yes, they are Muslim, but they are different now. They're doing it on their own by themselves. They're not representing that religion. They're not representing the Muslims um, as a body. You understand? So when it's like when Christians commit atrocity, also it's yeah, the person is a Christian, but the person the individual that committed the crime, yes, he's a Christian, but he's also his own person, something like
Yeah,
that. So I
yeah,
do understand what you're talking about, and that sometimes really makes us think again, like, do I really belong? Do I want to associate myself with this? So I do
yeah,
understand that. Okay, so also growing up, besides like you said, your mom wasn't there. I'm sorry to hear that. Besides your Sunday school teachers, because every kid went to Sunday school in back home, right? Besides your
yeah.
Sunday school teachers, is there anybody else that taught you about the Bible, talked to you about the Bible, like or explain the Bible to you? And also because you were a Muslim also at some point, did anybody explain the Quran to you? Like sit you down and break it down, like, okay, this is this. Did you ever have that opportunity?
In term of the Bible, I didn't really have apart from my Sunday school teacher. I don't think I actually ever had anyone outside of that has ever explained the Bible to me as a child. You know, the Bible was just, I didn't really have anyone that outside of church
Okay.
that ever actually
Break it
sat
down.
me down and break the Bible down to me, because although, you know, we go to church and all that, I didn't have like my mom, or my mom wasn't really, I didn't grow up with my mom anyway, but my dad was not really the type of guy that would sit me down and start, you know, reading
Oh,
the Bible to me or not. But in terms of the Quran, though, like when I was converted to Islam, I used to have a guy that they actually gave me a Quran that was translated in English, and he used to actually go through with me and, you know, read it with me and try and make me understand it a bit. But it was, I didn't really have
anybody.
any knowledge of like,
To
you
go
know.
to go deeper into that. So I know you have kids. You have three kids. Do you think at some point you're going to sit down and teach your children about Christ besides what they teach them at church? Like sit down, read the Bible with them, explain like the things you didn't have. Explain the Bible to them. Do you sit down as a family to do that? I'm sorry if it's kind of intrusive. I just want to know.
um I wouldn't say I do, not to make up stories. I don't really sit them down because we, how can I put this? Like, it's not that I don't believe in Jesus or anything,
Mhm.
but we don't really like agree with certain things like the media and the book
Okay.
depict with Jesus. Like, if even though we believe in Jesus, but we don't believe in the image of Jesus.
Okay.
You know, like, and this always cause some kind of big issue when I try and talk about this issue about, like, I don't feel like it's right for a black or African people
Okay.
to to um be having like a picture of a white Jesus in the house. I just feel like, as to a child,
Okay.
that's, you know, you're showing that a white person is more superior. If you're saying that God is white, that
Okay.
means they don't see themselves as, you know, anything. They see themselves as less of whatever, because they when they and to me that was a big issue for me, and it's always has been a big issue for me. You know, like, I just don't agree with the image of
Jesus.
Jesus being white. Being white.
Okay.
So in terms of me, actually, we do talk about Jesus, but I've always said to my children that, you know, because the Bible says, you know, his hair was made like, it looked like a wool, and his feet was color of brass. So to me, it was a black man.
Okay.
So I always, is to me, I've always I don't really go with the whole Jesus is white and all that. So
Well, the
it's,
picture circling, I mean, I've had some people argue that, okay, he's an actor, which is true, he's an actor. So the picture that we have is someone playing a role, acting. So
yes,
that's more or less a model. It's just something, it's something I believe because back in the olden days, they needed, people need an image, and let me say an image that you can hold on to and say, okay, this is the image of Christ. So I
mm,
believe for every individual, the image of Christ you have within you. You understand what I'm saying? The image of Christ you want to see. I'm created in the image of God. You're created in the image of God. So you understand what I'm saying? So you can, like, okay, obviously we all look like God. He's white, he's black, he's green, he's yellow, he's purple. We are all created in his image. So we all look like him. So every individual is allowed to say, okay, this is the image of Jesus Christ I know. This is the image of Jesus Christ I believe in. So I agree with what you're saying concerning the kids. So you can also explain that to them, that you're created in an image of Jesus Christ. You look exactly like Jesus Christ,
Oh
right?
yeah, I do that all the time. I do that all the time, and I think it's very important for us to let our kids know that, you know, not to let them feel like they're inferior from such a young age.
Mhm.
You know, like my kids are very confident. You know, very outspoken, because we don't put them in a box. We kind of give them the freedom to think, have their own unique thoughts, and we don't try to bring them down. Like, oh, you're a child, you shouldn't be speaking like that. No, 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 no. Like me and my wife, we really give them that freedom to express themselves. Obviously, if you feel like they need to be brought down because they're getting a bit too, we have the balance.
Okay.
So yeah, like you said, yeah, Jesus or God isn't. We all look like God. So like you said, a picture. But my problem with the picture is that if I've had this argument with some of my fellow Africans as well. Like if I show them like a picture of like two Jesus,
Mm.
identical, but one is black, one is white, they'll identify more with the white one.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's not because they feel like Jesus is not black,
Mm.
but they'll identify more with the white one because globally that's the image that's always been used,
Yeah.
and that's what they've accepted.
Yeah.
So and pictures plays a lot in our mind, in our
Mhm.
psyche. When we close our eyes and we're praying, the Jesus we see in our head is a white man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why, to me, image, a picture can say, you can say 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's very important, the imagery, and if you want to go deeper into like back when they were enslaving us, like
Mm.
over 400 years ago.
Mm.
Well, it goes deep, man. I don't know if I want to get in that.
I know. I know.
This is kind of a topic we can talk about,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And okay, let's move on. So, but do you still believe in God's love and the death of Jesus Christ on the cross, that he rose again the third day? Do you believe in all that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely believe in God. You know, there's no way that all this, well, or everything is just happen by itself. There has to be a master plan, a master planner. So I definitely believe in God, and I understand the whole Jesus story. You know, coming and dying for us. I totally get it as well. So that I do believe.
Oh, okay. Okay. So also, who is the model of Christ in your life? So what I mean by that is, who in your life can you say, oh, this person actually uh, models Christ. This person has that character, or that I want to be like this. If I call myself a Christian, this is somebody I want to assimilate. This is someone I want to relate with.
Well, to me, it's gonna have to be my wife, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, and I'm not just saying that because it's my wife. Like, she's I really look up to her because she's somebody that willing to help anybody. She always put people's feelings first. You know, she'll do anything to help anyone. And to me, she's almost perfect. No one's perfect, but she's almost perfect because she's such a warm-hearted, kind, smart, hardworking, person. And when I was going through a really low time, she was always there for me. So to me, she's one of my model,
Mm.
role model. Not only she's the mother of my children, she's also my wife. She's my best friend,
Mm.
and I really respect her. And she's very God fearing as well. Um, yeah, so
That's beautiful. Okay. So I know you said in church you had a little bit of uh, uncertainty, but so growing up, I can assume growing up, did you find your feet? Do you find you fit better in the secular world than in the church, or is it equal? Is it the same thing in the church and outside, or just within the church or mosque or in the mosque you felt more fitting?
I would say I felt more grounded outside of the religion as a whole. I felt more grounded when I was because I one thing I always feel like one thing I always feel is I always feel like I'm being judged
Okay.
a lot of times when I'm around like religious people. I always feel like they're judging me because I'm not doing some certain things that I should. I feel like I'm always being judged.
Okay.
So I don't so when I'm around like a proper devoted Christian or proper devoted Muslim person now, I feel like I can't truly be myself because I don't want to look at me like look at this person, look at this guy that So I always don't feel I have to kind of watch what I'm saying or watch how I'm acting or watch what I'm doing. So I don't feel fully free to be myself. So I feel more grounded or I feel more like when I'm in
In your comfort zone.
my comfort zone. Yeah.
Okay. So so I want you to advise, more or less advise the religious entity as a whole on what you think should be done to encourage more youth to hold on to their faith, to make them fit in more in whatever religion they're in than in the secular world, to be able to hold on to hope in the either in the church community or in the mosque community or wherever whatever their religion is. So I want you to kind of advise, give them like not advice, just like talk from your heart. What do you think should be done to make it a lot easier for younger ones growing up within the
Um,
religious community?
I think it's just if they can just give the platform for youth to actually express themselves more or give them the platform to actually no I mean to be fair some churches actually do all this already. There's some churches that I know out there that are really youth focused. They really focus on the youth. There's a lot of activity like the church that I attend. They really do a lot for the youth, which is good. But the only advice I can give is that a lot of youth go through a lot of problems in their home, in school, a lot of peer pressure from their friends, and I feel like if they can be like more of like a counseling or more of like a mentor, more mentors for the youths, because a lot of youths have problems in their homes and they can be quite daunting to speak to a member of the church because they might feel like it's too close home, so they might not be as open to express how they're feeling. But if they have like a something that's set up that they can go to in confidence, that okay, come and speak to someone about the issues you're facing, and I think that would be really good to have more of like a safe place that you can go to, knowing that you're not going to be judged or you're not going to be looked in a doomed way, like this person is you're derailing. So if they can have like a safe place for them to go to, that would be very good.
Okay. Okay. So, and I promise this is the last question. When you were growing up, you still as a teenager, you got tired of the church and all that environment. So, but you still went to church because you had to. I'm talking when you were still living with your dad. So
Yeah.
were you there because you realize that if you don't follow that path, there'll be consequences, and you're not independent enough to take care of yourself. Is that why, like, kind of fake it till I get what I want out of it kind of deal? Was that what it was for you?
Yeah, I think it was more of a thing that I don't want to disappoint my parents, like, you know. But the funny thing was that I actually grew to actually enjoy going to church. Initially I didn't like going to church. I used to like it was like I didn't want to be here. But there's times when I actually love going to church, because um to the point I actually joined the choir at one point. It was fun, it was nice. I had like a sense of belonging, which was really good for me. So yeah, I guess sometimes I do have to kind of like, I don't want to be there sometimes. Yeah, it's true. And I have to kind of go there because my parents expect me to be there. And but overall, it was a nice experience for me being in church. The atmosphere is always electric. I love it when everyone's singing and dancing, and that's one thing that this whole lockdown is really
I
messed up
know.
because it's the feeling is not the same anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, I have no problem. I enjoy the environment, and yeah.
So at the moment, you say you do go to church with your family at the moment, right? So what kind of church do you go to? Do you go to, what I mean by that, not the name of the church. I mean, do you go to a Pentecostal church, a white garment church, or a what's this called?
I
The
go to a redeem. It's a
oh,
redeem.
Origin Church. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
it's not very big. Not very big. Church. It's very very small people. Number of people there, but everyone's really close and
oh,
have
okay.
a good unit.
So you said at some point I promise, I said the last question was the last question, but I thought about one more thing and I want to ask you. So you said at some point you didn't like going to church. Then later on you kind of like going to church because you end up joining the choir and all that. What happened? What encouraged you? What encouraged that switch?
I think with me is I because I do a lot of music production as well, a lot of like digital editing and all that stuff. So to me, being in church, I think that's what sparked that interest in my life because I used to love the whole technicality of the band setting up and the pianist, the getting everything ready, getting doing the sound check, speakers and all that. I really like that because I'm a very technical, hands-on person. So me sitting there in my corner watching the band, watching the choir singing, and I love that, and that's what inspired me to actually join the choir, and because I love it. So you know
Okay.
that's what made me. That's what really got me into joining the choir is just seeing the old band, seeing everything being set up and the mic check and all that. Yeah,
So I think with the world today, so I think the best thing, the best way of carrying along the youth, carrying along people in churches, find out what their strength is. So the ones that have the acting capacity, put them into acting. If they're into music, put them into music. So in other words, the more they get engaged in what they love to do, coming to church will not be, oh, we have to go again. There will be a little bit of excitement to it, saying, okay, I want to go because I definitely, when I get to church, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to learn to play my music. I'm going to be able to sing. I'm going to be able to dance. I'm going to be able to see my friends. I'm going to be able
yeah,
to talk with people. So I do. So I like everything you said today, and I'm so glad that when I called you, you said, okay, you will do this. And I know you're a very busy person. I know that, and I know you'll have your hands full. So I am so grateful, and thank you so much for coming on my show. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Shalewa Dosumo, and my guest here, his name, I'm going to let him repeat it, is Christopher Adepoju, right?
Christopher Adepoju.
Adepoju. Okay. Thank you so much, Christopher. It's I am very, it's my pleasure that you're here today. So thank you. And just hold on one second. Bye.